So it's actually going to be just a short part of this video. Royal Crest. This is the Royal Rich, so it's I think the 4% milk fat versus Alexandra's low vat pasteurized, low temp pasteurized A2 whole milk, which is like 6% milk fat. This is just gonna be the taste test part. All right. This one's a lot thicker. A little bit sweeter. I know this one in stores is like $8. This one you get from Royal Crest, and I think it's like $3.99. We'll go into more detail in the next part of the video. So, filming the second part of this video. It was Royal Crest, Royal Rich versus Alexandra Farms A2A2. Now, given how much money I spent on fucking milk this week for this video, the comparison between these two is the closest I could get. Royal Crest is high temperature pasteurized, which is 160 degrees for 15 seconds. 15 seconds. And Alexandra is low temperature pasteurized for 140 to 145 degrees for 45 seconds, or not for 45 seconds, for 30 minutes. When they say vat pasteurized, that doesn't mean anything because I think all milk is pasteurized in a vat. I don't know, but I think it would make sense to me. But here's the thing. So when it's pasteurized at lower temperatures, you save some more of the bacteria, which a lot of it in raw milk is harmful, which I wish I could get some raw milk because I want to try it anyway. But a lot of it's good too. So maybe 145 is enough to kill the bad ones, but not the good ones. Or whatever. I don't know. Maybe most of the good ones or whatever. Anyway. So the Alexandra's A2A2, which is a different casein protein than the A1 protein found in Royal Crest and most conventional milks, honestly. Most conventional milks are a mix of A1 and A2. Alexandra, from my research, is just A2. So the cheapskate in me wants to go for Royal Crest, but here's the differences. Royal Crest is 4% butterfat, whereas Alexandra is 6% butterfat. They both are around 210, 220 calories per cup, and you saw me drink a cup of each just a few minutes ago in this same video. The Royal Crest is $3.99 for 64 ounces, whereas Alexandra is $7.99 for 48 ounces. That's the part that gets me, because I'm a fucking cheapskate. I don't like spending money. Anyway. But I gotta give it to Alexandra on this one, and this kind of kills me because They have the A2 protein, which is, I wouldn't say healthier. What I would say is that it gives people less trouble, which has been reported many times. Also, I believe that Alexandra is grass-fed, and Royal Crest doesn't say much about their cows, which leads me to believe that they're not grass-fed. They're probably fed GMO soy and all kinds of other stuff, like the little soy pellets and stuff. Research it, you'll find out, Royal Crest is not organic, whereas Alexandra is. And yes, you're getting less for your money, and yes, you're paying almost double the price, but on this one, the cheapskate in me has to put Alexandra forward on this one. You can get it as like Sprouts or Whole Food, whereas Royal Crest you can only get if you live on the Front Range, which I do. Now, one of the advantages that Royal Crest has is that they are from they're a local company, so they get their cheeses from Wisconsin. A lot of their meats and their milks and stuff are gotten from Colorado. Very close to where I live. Like a lot of the areas that they get their stuff are very, very close to where I live. So it's all local, and they're a smaller business. But in this case, I got to go with Alexandra. You get things that you get them at like Whole Foods, Sprouts, things like that. Like markets like that, not like where I work. They were both whole milks, which one of them is 4%, which is Royal Crest. The other one's 6% butter fat. And when I say 4% and 6%, I mean butter fat. People are like, "Oh, like you're losing weight again. So why are you? Which, by the way, I'm down a good amount of pounds. Since like 2 months ago, and I'm talking like, so far it's been 29 pounds, which is kind of cool. But on this one, I gotta go with Alexandra. And I'll tell you why I'm choosing the higher fat over the lower fat. It sure as hell ain't the price, because this shit is $7.99 for less, like for 48 ounces, which isn't even 64 ounces, which is half a gallon. And it's not because it's local, because Alexandra's not local. They're in California. Also, they're in California, and if you know me and my politics, you know I kind of don't like California. But it's a higher fat percentage, which with the protein keeps you satiated longer. So generally people that consume higher fat milk tend to actually lose weight and keep it off. And I do tend to favor the A2 protein because it's acceptable to more people. A lot of people react to the A1 protein that's in it. And I love the fact that Royal Crest is local. They source all their ingredients from, Colorado, Wisconsin, like within a few states of where we are. And Alexandra doesn't bring me the milk to my doorstep. I'm a Royal Crest subscriber, and I'm going to continue to be. But because you get the A2 protein, because it's more readily available, and because it's low VAT temperature pasteurized, which basically all milk is all milk is pasteurized in a vat, if I'm not mistaken, so that doesn't matter. But low temperaturized milk is pasteurized at 145 degrees Celsius, whereas high pasteurized milk, which is typically what we see, in commercial milks, is at 160 degrees. Now it's only at 160 degrees for 15 seconds, whereas low vat pasteurized milk is at 145 degrees for 30 minutes. Low vat tends to leave more of the bacteria and stuff that we need in our milk. So while both of them have their advantages, I gotta go with Alexandra on this one. There is one that I think is gonna knock Alexandra out of the park, but we'll get to that later. So as far as the whole milks, I'm gonna have to go with Alexandra on this one, even though Royal Crest gives you a half gallon for $3.99, and Alexandra doesn't even give you a half gallon, and you're getting it for $7.99. The cheapskate in me wants to say go with Royal Crest, but I think because of the availability, the protein they're using, and how they pasteurize their milk, and the fact that Royal Crest is homogenized, and which keeps the cream mixed in the milk. They add chemicals to do that, whereas Alexandra is not homogenized. So you have to shake it up, or else, if you want the cream top, you can get that too. You just have to leave it in the fridge for a week or so. And yes, the Royal Crest milk is good for longer, but non-homogenized, that's a perk. And lower that temperature pasteurized is, leaving more of the positive bacteria in there for you. I'm going to have to go with Alexandra on this one. Later.